I'm here today with Bastien Donzé, who is a wheel product manager for Zipp, and he's got some exciting new products to tell me about.
It's a pretty exciting product, you're right, Stu. I mean, it's a brand new wheel for Zipp. It's a different proposition, different product that we have had up until now. We're trying to come up with a wheel for the modern road bike. It's a bike that has to be super versatile, that's super capable as well. It's a bike that needs to be fast on the road, that needs to be capable of hitting some gravel at the same time. And we're thinking, what do we need to do from the wheel standpoint to create a product that makes people faster for this type of application? And I think we were led to maybe step away from focusing on aerodynamic performance only to look at a greater picture. And I really understood that efficiency or improving efficiency is the way to create a wheel that is fast for that type of application. Obviously, aerodynamic performance is still a big one of them.
Sure, I mean that's what Zipp has founded itself on as a brand, right?
Absolutely,
Lots of time in the wind tunnel.
And we learned a lot about this, over the past 30 years. So this is definitely something that we wanna keep doing. But some of the other aspects of the wheels that we looked at is the weight of the wheel. If you have a heavier wheel and you want to ride, out in the real world, having a wheel that's a little heavy is not going to be quite as efficient. But then after that, looking at how the tire performs and how the combination of the tire and the rim and the volume of the tire and the tire pressure, all of this definitely affects the performance as well. And we took a look at all of that together.
So really, what we're looking at here with the new product is a more holistic approach to the wheel. So we're not just looking at one particular aspect. Yeah. We're looking at this system, which we need. Obviously, we need tires. We need to have air in them, and that tire has to do more than just go fast. It also has to grip. It also has to, or can potentially deliver comfort, right. All those stuff. So this is a much more holistic approach that you're taking. Yeah?
That's right, and trying to again, look at how people ride in the real world and the kind of conditions that they're going through on those super capable road bike. Again, that can be ridden on very nice, smooth asphalt roads, all the way to cobbles, for instance, or even gravel. You have to find a way to use the tire and the interface of the tire with the rim to create a faster setup. And something that we found is that maybe is counterintuitive to a lot of cyclists out there, is the fact that bigger tires are going to do incredible things for you. But contrary to maybe popular belief, you actually have to using a bigger tire at a lower pressure is not going to be slowing you down at all.
So you mentioned a really important point there, which is riding on wider tyres. That's something that we're obviously hearing a lot about now. Tyres have gradually crept up. So when you say wide tyres, what's wide in your world?
For me at this moment, anything smaller than a 28mm tire, especially tubeless tire, doesn't make a lot of sense when it comes to riding that modern road bike that can be capable of going anywhere. Mm-hmm. And it's good because we see some brands coming up with complete bikes that are shipping with tires with 28mm, but also bigger than this. Mm-hmm. You see bikes coming up with 32mm tires.
Sure, yeah.
And that's the kind of tire size that I think would benefit a lot of riders.
And what does a rim have to do differently then? I mean, it's not just about putting wider and wider tires on the same rim. Tell me a little bit more about how that wider tire works as a system with the rim and what you have to do differently.
The rim obviously have to evolve as well, and it's something that goes hand in hand. Again, there's that perception from legacy that you need to have a rim that's somewhat narrow and pinches the tire at the base. If the tire grows, obviously you're going to have a bit of a light bulb effect. It's going to be, if the rim doesn't grow with the tire is going to be more pinched, and it's going to have the tendency of going left and right. So with a much wider rim, you're going to be providing a lot more support to your tire and the sidewalls of your tire. You're going to increase the volume in your tire as well, which in turn is also going to help you reduce the tire pressure. So it's a win-win on pretty much every front, because you can reduce the tire pressure and lower the tire pressure. And something that we found is there's significant efficiency gain to be had from lower tire pressure. We're going to come back in a minute.
Yep.
But the tire is not going to feel squirmy at all, because that wide rim profile being supportive to the sidewalls like this is going to be preventing the tire from squirming left and right, and it's going to feel very stable, very confident, inspiring.
You mentioned there like the $1 million question really, which is tire pressure. You know, I still see so many people who argue that they want to pump their tires up to 100 psi.
Nah.
And I think, you know, there has been some education in you know, as a whole, the industry's pushed towards telling people that that's now, you know, old-fashioned and lower pressures are better. But you know, again, we talk about tires growing to 30 and 32 mil. So what's happening with the pressures then once you get out to those wider tires?
What we're seeing, you know, and it's really interesting, we've been blown away by some of the sensations we've had, some of the performance feelings, you know, of bigger tires at lower pressure. We're like, man, we have this impression that bigger tires are going to be slower, but when you go out there on the field and you're open-minded, you're like, it's a lot faster than we thought. So we've actually developed a test in-house in our facility that allows us to really record the kind of power that is required to maintain a certain speed. We call that test the rolling road. It's a bit of a treadmill for bicycles. And now we're able to record the power required for a cyclist to maintain a speed of 20 mph. And you can, you know, affect, you know, how the road, that rolling road is running. And it was very impressive to see the amount of power that is being lost because of the vibrations of the road. So as soon as you start running on a road that is not perfect, that has potholes, cracks, or on the cobbles or on the gravel,
which is almost every road is not perfect, right?
Which is pretty much all of that, there is a pretty significant amount of power that is being lost if you're running a traditional tire size, say 23 or 25, inflated at the standard pressures 80, 90, 100 or 110 psi, even worse. And what we realized by using a bigger tires 28 or above at much lower pressure than you think, which is again, you know, rendered possible thanks to that wider profile and the bigger tires. And now I'm talking pressures in the 55 to 60 psi for someone like me, for instance. As low as this, you can actually save a significant amount of power, up to 40 or 50 watts on rough roads.
That's huge. So let me just get this straight. You're saying an average rider, let's say 75 kg rider, can run tires as low as 55, 60 psi on a 28 mil tire with this new rim technology.
That's exactly right. And again, see, I've got this rim section here from the new 303 Firecrest. So what we have here is a tubeless profile, the 25 millimeter internal width. And being so wide, the rim is going to provide the tire with the support it needs to have, like, feel very stable and confident. But because of the additional volume of the tire, then you can decrease your tire pressure. And then the tire effectively becomes some sort of suspension for the bike. It's going to really filter all of those vibrations out. And what we saw effectively on that test is having all of those vibrations taken out allows you to focus more intensively on your pedaling, on your power inputs, and that becomes speed eventually.
Okay, and something that everyone's going to ask, you know, down at those low pressures that you've just suggested, is rolling resistance is going to be something on people's minds.
Absolutely.
So tell me a little bit about what changes with this new rim shape and the wider tire that means that you're not suddenly feeling like you're riding through thick glue.
That's exactly the core of the story, isn't it? Because that's really what people think, that bigger tires, lower tire pressure obviously rolls slower. But again, that's a preconception. That's not true, because we've been doing a lot of research and understanding of that. And it is proven now that bigger tires have as good rolling resistance or even better rolling resistance than smaller tires, if the tire pressure is a little different. And then in terms of aerodynamic performance, what we found as well with that profile is that there's a much cleaner transition between the tire and the sidewalls on a wide rim like this, which actually increases the aerodynamic performance of the system. So tire and the rim together, this rim profile with the 28 millimeter tire is actually faster significantly than the previous generation of 303 wheels. So you're pretty much saving on all points, right? You're saving on aerodynamic performance, you're saving on rolling resistance, you're saving a significant amount on vibration damping, just because of that combination of that system approach that really filters vibrations out. And then the last point in terms of improving efficiency is that the new 303 Firecrest is significantly wider than the previous generation, because we've shaved about 290 grams, or nearly 3/4 of a pound, off of the entire wheel set, and most of that weight saving is coming from the rim, which means it's going to be faster and acceleration and climbing up.
There's obviously more to a wheel set than just rim alone. We've talked a lot about the rim.
Yeah.
What about the hub? What's going on in the center of the wheel that's changed for this new 303?
The center of the rim on the 303 Firecrest, we're actually bringing up with a new hub. We call it the Zr1 Hub, the Zipp Road Hub, number 1. It's a 100% new hub design, and really the first objective for us on that hub project was to increase the durability of the hub and increase the bearing durability, really. So we've reworked a system that has much better sealing, first here to protect the driver mechanism, but also inside of the hub and across all of the bearings. Now you have much better seals, which means you're going to have a much better bearing lifetime. Then another design of this hub was to have like a very strong driver mechanism. So we now have 6 poles that are grouped by 3 on this ratchet ring here, so you're going to have a quicker engagement, which means the wheel is going to be a little more responsive. Very easy service maintenance. You saw me pull that driver body. You can put it back and just changing just like that, which means very easy to service and maintain if ever. This hub is using J-bend spokes, makes a lighter hub. It's also a lot easier to maintain and bring back to tension if needed. And something that's interesting is we're coming up with a center locking mechanism with all of our wheels now. And new for this year is the wheels are going to get delivered with the lock ring, including in the box.
So we've been stood here chatting. I can't help noticing this little flashing gizmo on the valve here. So do you want to tell me and the viewers a little bit about what that's all about?
Absolutely. So this is TireWiz. TireWiz is an integrated tire pressure sensor that we have for the wheels. We've had TireWiz as part of the SRAM family, you know, with Quark in the line for a couple of years now, and it's been super interesting. It's one of the things where people think, oh, that's another gadget, you know, that's a gizmo. I don't really need that. And what I found personally from my experience is now that I'm used to it, now that I'm using it, it's really something I can not do without. It's actually very helpful because TireWiz, you know, has this blinking light, and depending on the blinking pattern, once you set it on your phone, it tells you if you're at the required tire pressure, above or below. So now when you take your bike, you know, from the garage, like here in the morning, you don't have to use your floor pump or digital tire gauge just to verify your tire pressure. You just look at the way the LED works or the way it's blinking. You don't even have to take your phone out to verify the tire pressure. Just the way this blinks, you know exactly the tire pressure.
And does it blink a different color, maybe green or something?
Exactly. So you set it up with the Access app, right? And if you set it, you have like your desired tire pressure and then the window at which you want your tire pressure. And if it's green, you're within your window of required. If it blinks red fast, you're above, and blink red slow, you're below.
Okay.
So what's pretty cool with this is the standard TireWiz goes on top of the valve, but for 303 Firecrest here, we've designed a more integrated version. I think the benefit is if we're trying to tell people to use bigger tires at lower pressure, especially down to, you know, the 55 to 65 psi range that we think is really the best for this wheel, having a TireWiz onto the wheel, having something that really tells people, yes, this is the right pressure, is something important. The one thing I need to add though is so TireWiz for 303 Firecrest is available separately, so it does not come with the wheel, but you can get it separately and then have it fit and nicely integrated here, like on this wheel. We've also readjusted the price point on the 303 Firecrest, and the new Firecrest being significantly lighter. Like I said, you know, this wheel is nearly 300 grams lighter than before, comes in at 1,350 grams for the pair, which is light. It's a lot wider, it's pretty strong, it's got a new hub that's a lot more durable in weather environments. This wheel set, the pair without TireWiz, is going to be positioned at 1,800 pounds.
So again, that's a
1,800 pounds.
significant jump down. I think from memory, 303 Firecrest was around the £2,400-ish price point, maybe
That's
a
right.
bit above. So yeah, okay. That's heaps of information about 303. Loads going on with that particular family. But what about elsewhere in the Zipp range? Any other changes to tell us about?
There's actually quite a lot. There's a lot more. So like you said, there's a lot going on in the wheels, and 303 Firecrest and 303S are going to be the two big wheels, the two new wheels in the line. But something that's really big for us also this year is we're changing the way the Zipp wheel looks. So we're having our new logo, like you've seen. So that's going to be the new Zipp logo, and all of the wheels, including 202, 404, 808, are going to switch over to this new logo and these general graphics. NSW wheels are still printed on the wheels. Firecrest wheels, for instance, still have these decals with these new colors. Something else that is new is that all of the wheels are switching to a tubeless profile. Like even 454, 858, that used to be tube type, now switch over to tubeless.
So one of the things I'm getting from what you've been telling me about these wheels is that the wider tyre profiles, it's all about sort of more versatility. People can use these wheels pretty much wherever. So something that I hear people are worried about with carbon wheels is taking them off-road, gravel riding, that kind of thing. You get the occasional impact on the rim or rock striking the wheel, okay? So tell me a little bit about maybe where Zipp stands with regard to that kind of side of things.
That's a great point, and I'm glad you're bringing this up, because for sure, if you have a nice set of carbon wheels, either Firecrest, NSW, or even our 303S, that's still significant investment, right? And you're having a wheel, you're spending that money so that you become faster, but you don't want that to be ruined on the first impact if you hit a pothole, if you run into a curb or anything. And that's why, starting with this model year, we're implementing a new type of coverage. We call that, it's a lifetime warranty. So it goes for the first owner, the duration of the life cycle of the product. It's actually a lot more than just a lifetime warranty. It's really a crash replacement policy. So the way we describe it, is if you're out and riding your bike, if you have anything happen to you, you hit a pothole, you ride into a curb, or even there's an accident, you get into a car and your rim is cracked or broken, we're going to replace it for you.
Free of charge? Free
of charge. It's a crash replacement.
Even if I'm an idiot and I ride into a tree, you're going to give me a free rim.
We're gonna help you out. We're gonna support you. What we want is people, to be completely reassured that that they can have those rims and ride them as they're intended. And if you do that, then you're gonna be supporting you. And if you ride, I think it's pretty good. I think it's helpful. And if for whatever reasons, like you're doing something to your rim outside of you riding it, if you have the rim on your roof, if somebody drives his car onto your bike, we're probably not going to replace it for free, but we're going to have very advantageous conditions to have the rim replaced so that you can go back and...
So the message is really you're going to be looking after your customers, even better than you have done in the past.
That's true.
Moving forward with model year 21 products. So great. Well, that's good stuff. Heaps of information to be absorbing there, but sounds like pretty much throughout the whole range of Zipp wheels we can expect all new developments, and particularly in 303, that sounds really exciting. So for a first ride review on the 303 wheels, click on that in the link below, and all the information will be there in terms of specs and weights, price, that kind of thing. Thanks very much.